What's up, my fellow Bar None warriors? This is Chris, aka Bar None 11970. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video, and let's get into an interesting article. And I say interesting very facetiously, which you'll see throughout this report that I'm about to make. I will post the link in the description box, so check that below when you are done. And this should anger you a little bit because it really shows that governments. Now, I'm not going to speak for other governments around the world because I only live under this government. I'm sure they all are working together to basically screw the people. This government here in particular, the United States corporation, it shows repeatedly how they're not looking for your best interest. And this will show just that. This article is entitled Supreme Court Defends Wealthy's Right to Own Government. So this is our Supreme Court. Let's get into this article. By a 5-4 decision, the United States Supreme Court today defended the rights of the wealthiest Americans to own the United States government. Writing for the majority, Chief Justice John Roberts summarized the rationale behind the court's decision. In quotes, in recent years, this court has done its level best to remove any barriers preventing the wealthiest in our nation from owning our government outright. And while a few barriers that remained were flimsy at best, it was high time that they be shredded as well. End quote. Citing the United States Constitution, Justice Roberts, quote, wrote, our founding fathers created the most magnificent democracy in human history. Now, thanks to this decision, the dream of owning that democracy is a reality, end quote. So this shows that now Justice Roberts is a Supreme Court judge. These are supposed to be the people that went to Harvard and Yale and Princeton and went to all these fancy universities and are educated and are supposed to be the superior people according to, what they all claim that they know best because, they're in power. And first of all, he doesn't seem to understand the fact that we did not originally start out as a democracy. We started out as a republic, and that's probably why you don't say the following, and to the democracy for which it stands. So either these people are totally ignorant of what's really going on, or, like most propaganda, they steer you in a certain direction. Repeat the same lie over and over again, it becomes the truth. So this is where it gets even more interesting. Another one of the justices, Justice Antonin Scalia, also weighed in by telling reporters, quote, after all of the pro-gay decisions we've been making around here lately, it was nice to finally have a win for the good guys. End quote. Isn't that wonderful? So basically, in one sentence, this person said that good guys are the wealthiest people, the bad guys are the pro-gays. They seem to have a problem, or maybe even at best being annoyed by making decisions for people's right to choose, and they're happy with the fact that they're selling the government. Now, if we have been following this channel or anybody's channel about the United States government, it is not an actual landmass that they're referring to. They're actually talking about a corporation. And if you know anything about corporations, they can be bought and sold. So isn't that a coincidence that they're trying to sell it to the highest bidders? So if you think this country, and again, I can't speak for other countries because I don't live there, but I'm pretty much sure they're just as corrupt, that it goes to the highest bidder. If you have a lot of money, you can own part of the government, and your Supreme Court that is supposed to be there for justice, or as some people like to say, just us, which being the wealthiest of people, you can buy them out, and the highest bidder gets to own a piece of that corporation. So us serfs, us peasants, we lose in the long run, and they love to do these things just a little bit at a time. Because if, for example, if one mosquito bites you, it'll get your attention for a second. It might be annoying, but there's nothing that's going to happen. If all of a sudden there's a swarm of mosquitoes coming at you, you're going to run and hide for shelter. In other words, you're going to react. So this is what they do with laws. This is what they do to steal our wealth, steal our freedoms, steal our power, whatever. They do a little bit at a time in slow increments. So this way, you don't overreact to it right away. And that's why things like the NSA and things like the National Defense Authorization Act, the Patriot Act, Obamacare, all these lovely things that take away our liberties and freedoms, they do a little bit at a time over the years So we have just enough to be annoyed, but not enough for us to say, that's it, we don't want any more of this. So I'm going to leave this article relatively short. If you want to check the link, I've pretty much read the entire article, but it shows how our justice system really works. If you have a lot of money, I guess there's justice for you. If you're one of the poor people, guess you're you know what out of luck. So thanks for watching, guys, and leave your comments and share. And if you appreciate this kind of information, give it a thumbs up. And if you are here for the first time, we would love for you to join the Barnon Nation by hitting the subscribe link somewhere below. Thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to have your congressmen, your politicians, and your Supreme Court justices spayed or neutered. Peace.